So last time, the main thing I did was add like a challenge gem type thing as one of the things on the side we can encounter. And the idea here is I just need more variety in like the types of things that you can do as you like head up. Fine. And it also offers like a little risk and reward type thing where to get the reward you have to go down. Therefore, it becomes more likely that you'll die. You can probably see here I also iterated on this like vine grow shader to grow the platforms as well. Talk about that in a second. Oh, wait, there's a gem. I missed it. So yeah, this is the time gem thing. You get all the gems before they die. Oh, no! Oh, my... No, don't die! Oh, yeah, it turns red because I missed the last one there. Let's see if I can get the next one. Try again. But yeah, this does go to my general point though that this is not like the best. It's kind of like a clunky implementation. See, I can't get it there because that tree, it sucks. And in general, I don't really have good information about where the platforms are. Just because I haven't taken the additional time to like develop those systems. For example, I've been talking a while about doing a system that, man, I made that time too hard. But a system that would like draw splines of potential movement paths so that we could spawn like collectibles or stuff like this on those splines instead of like ad hoc hacky way. So yeah. So that was that time gem thing. I never actually got it because I kept messing it up, but just take my word for it. If you get all the gems before they despawn, instead of turning red, the gem turns into an upgrade that you can pick up. And you can see there I iterated on the grow shader stuff to have it also apply to the platforms. Definitely not perfect. Here I can show it again. Beyond some like limitations, it also like just the implementation could be better in some ways. So for starters, since platforms spawn in a block of 4, the lower and the higher spawn at the same time. That's not really what we want. We want them spawning in line with the growth of the vine. Also, you can see on the edges here, this is just like a rounding problem where it's never getting to 1 or like the noise is making it constantly below 1, so it never fully fills out. Let me check in. What else? In general, just like the upward movement needs to be tuned a bit better, not being applied to these big platforms yet, it's only being applied to pairs of small platforms. So yeah, definitely good progress, but there's still some ways to go on that. That actually was slightly harder than I expected, took longer than I expected. Explain why. Because main vine here, just spawning in like chunks, right? Just doing a chunk, and then within each chunk, it goes from the UVs just go from 0, 1. So it's pretty easy to just like wrap your head around what growth looks like, right? It's just the higher UV is the higher growth, or it might be 0 to 1, I don't know. But point is, the UVs are predictable within the context of the growth. The problem is for like the tiles, right? Say we have our platform here. This is made up of, this isn't one platform, it's made up of tiles, right? And each of these tiles has like 0 to 1, 0 to 1 type deal. I think you get what I'm saying. Where I want really this from 0 to 1 in this direction. So that is a bit harder. It's because you can't just simply use the UVs. So let me see, what exactly did I do? I think the idea basically was I passed in this position and this position, and then I can use my like world space position to determine how far along this vector I am. Yep. Vine, platform vine grow. Okay, so yeah, this bucket of subtract and divide and stuff is what is getting that like adjusted t value. Where this abs bounds in, I believe, is xy of this, xy of this, right? So this is x minus x, y minus y. So this is delta x, this is delta y. Then add, oh right, you need the sum of delta x and delta y. So this composes delta x and delta y into a vector 2. Then you take the sum, you divide by that because you want a unit vector, or not a unit vector. You can't just normalize. You don't want a unit vector. You want a vector whose components add up to 1 so that you can just multiply. And then this other one, okay, yeah, so the world position, the absolute value of x, so I can just do positive and negative direction. And then just by doing x minus like the left edge, y minus the bottom edge, you can get like a distance among the delta x and delta y. So this is like the distance into the box. And then you divide that by the size of the box, which is the delta x, delta y here, to get basically a progression for x and a progression for y, which then you just do dot product to see how far it is along this directional vector. So yeah, a little bit trickier to get the UVs and definitely some further improvements to make there. But I don't know, it looks kind of cool. Uh, Definitely a good start. Yeah, but I didn't really get too much stuff done other than that. The heat just like killed a few of my days. I just didn't feel like doing anything. And then also just some like household stuff that had been building up had to get taken care of. But looking forward, I should have a lot more time, especially during the week. So hopefully I can get to like the next speed of progress. Um, so yeah, I was kind of alluding to this earlier, talking about how things are getting kind of crowded. Things are getting kind of like it's bad to add stuff to. Like without the splines, the gem thing doesn't work well. Then I'm spending time implementing this ad hoc solution that I can only test sometimes because sometimes the gems are unreachable. You can see how this can be like kind of a problem. So I just don't feel like I'm getting too much efficiency at this point by working on the main level. Um, I think just needs to be a good chunk of offline work to clean up those platform systems, add the necessary support systems like splines, and once that is nice and cleaned up, I will be able to add future challenge gems with greater efficiency. Because in addition to other room types, like I think I talked about like a slot machine type room. Let's see what I wrote down. Yeah, so like a gambling room, trade life for treasure, but there could also be other challenge gems like alternating near far spawns or like following a bubble around or waiting on the screen for a certain amount of time. There are a lot more challenges I can add, and I think having a diversity of those challenges available is going to be the final piece here to make good levels. But I just feel like those meta level systems are in kind of a not great technical debt ridden state that would make adding more of those types of things at this time not like an efficient use of my time. And also probably, and I'm not going to like go work on technical debts on stream because that'd be super boring. So I figure I can kind of skip ahead, to like an isolated thing that doesn't really care as much about the level being like in a good state to add more stuff. That is the boss stuff. Because I figure I didn't gonna just oh, I went back one. Whoops. The boss stuff. I figure I can just make it like a level. I'm not gonna ascend all the way to the top and then test my boss every time, right? I want to just like have a boss level. So since it's something good to work on in isolation like that, and it's like a hopefully a relatively exciting oh crap, I closed the scene view. Window scene. Oh my gosh. How annoying. I just oh general probably? Yeah, there we go. Why would I ever want to close the scene view? I guess you got to give people the freedom to set up their UI however they want. You hook it. Oh, you're killing me, Unity. Yeah, I just close it and getting increasingly frustrated with Unity as I get further on in this project. Gotta be real here. I don't want to be complainy, but just no. I wonder how much work it's really doing for me compared to other games. I mean, I know I don't want to make my own game engine in like C++ because that's like a arduous task. And then like if I want to deploy to UWP or mobile or something, like that's gonna be horrible. If I had to do it myself. But there are other game engines out there, and I feel like I should definitely give some of them a more serious try. Even this, like what? I got two scenes. I got an amount of 2D assets in like the dozens, not in the hundreds. We are still watching this slowly freaking um oh, I can just go here, add tab, scene. Yeah. Oh, I close this. My Unity has gotten into this like weird state. It's so frustrating. Oh, that it? No. Oh, I have to put it on the left? Dude. Ice, do you know how I anchor this? How freaking... I guess I just like pretend it's not there and use this as my new view? I don't think I use that. I'm so like annoyed that this has messed up my thing. Right, like in anything else, you drag the little tab into the tab bar. Oh, right, Unity. I already closed it and reopened it. It won't let me close this main tab, and it won't let me add anything to this. Right, see, closes, get rid of maximize. That might have crashed Unity. Uh, oh my god, it fixed. Thank you. Jesus Christ, how frustrating. Anyway, doing boss stuff. Just make sure everything's still fine in here. Um, yeah, seems fine. And combo, all this stuff, cool. So, but we are not working on the main level more. First, I want to make sure I have no, yeah, okay, good. My Git repo is clean. I have no uncommitted changes, so let's get started. So first of all, I've been just like piling a lot of stuff onto the player prototype as I go along. You know, each time I add a new thing, I just add onto the player. But I guess I haven't been adding it to the player. Prototype is the thing. I've just been adding it to the player that happens to be in this level. That's cool. Yeah, dude, have fun working on your coding thing. Definitely, definitely a better use of time than just slamming StarCraft games, or I guess for you, be like League of Legends games, or at least more satisfying at the end for sure. Much rather have like a thing I made than victory screen. All right, but yeah, like I was saying, the player prototype here might have some stuff piled on. It might not be just okay to drop into a new level. So let's go ahead and open up the player prefab. Is there a player prefab? Oh, it wouldn't be in resources. Yeah. Oh yeah, the player prefab here is still using the old pink guy. So let's update it. I don't think there's any real risk of player um like having stuff I don't want to lose. I think it just wants to replace it with the new player. All right, just replacing it there seemed fine. Player modifiers is on there. It's got the trail render, jump swap, all the stuff I would expect it to have. Um, so let's make a new level and drop it in there and see if that's fine. I don't think it will be, being honest, but let's find out. So we're gonna go to scenes, create scene. Where is scene? There it is. Boss. Yeah, still call it. Yeah, we'll save our test changes. All right, boss test. I'm going to go to test. Just grab our big um grab this like first platform here. Grab this. Just so I have something to stand on. I'll end up replacing this in a second, I think. Yeah, why is it showing? See, we're already off to a thing. Oh, I guess the camera actual problem here. There it is on the spawn boxes. So let's head over to our previous scene again. In fact, we should probably just save camera as a prefab. So, fabs. It's prefab. Oh my god, Unity. So frustrating. I don't even know where the stuff is now. God, dude. Of all the things in Unity that frustrate me, that is just one. I can fix it just by resetting like that. But oh wait, and also doing this. We'll go version control. Just helping me undo massive unintentional changes from the slightest drag of the mouse. Thanks, Unity. All right, replace that. Still have our other scene. Okay, where are scenes? There it is. Oh, right, it has to be in resources. Yeah. Oh, right, I remember now. We were gonna go to test to make the camera up. All right, so now the camera's a prefab. We can go back to the boss scene. And sure. And grab our prefab and copy it onto the main camera we have here. Yeah, so already failing some stuff. Oh, that made it a child. That's not what I wanted you to make. So I can't do that. Just delete it then. That. This as well. Actually, I think we will want those. Okay. We are failing a few checks, but also, what's going on with our tile map boy here? Missing something. For some reason, I only see one piece. Before I get into the code, let's see if I can figure out the tile map problem. I think it's just not on a grid, right? Or child? It just needs to be on a grid. Yeah, there we go. That was in. All right. So, assertion error here. What is our assertion error? Camera shake thing. Huh. Does this camera not have screen shake on it? No, it does. Oh, but I guess the player doesn't have the reference. So, player here. I want to find camera. Point it to the main camera. All right, first assert defeated. Again, because, oh my gosh. All right, first assert beaten. Now we have a null reference exception in player combo. I'm guessing it has to do with the UI. Yep. So for now, we're just gonna say if m combo bar. Because testing purposes, I don't know if I mean, like, maybe I'll eventually put a combo bar in this level, but it shouldn't be something I have to care about. All right, let's try that. But now, yeah, I added a single condition. Go ahead, recompile for 30 seconds. Really like the flaming unity hour. All right. Seems good. The one thing is there is a box clamping the player's movement, which I will, because that's just to sort of limit the player's movement while the start screen is up, so you can still like jump around and get a feel for the uh, game actually starts. Okay, now we are in. I not move. Maybe I didn't get rid of the right thing. Jump. I can't. Was I jumping before? It's listening for Waseda. This? Oh yeah, okay. So some call this Raycaster, purpose of it is to prevent you from like smashing yourself into walls. Was somehow false positiving on this platform. Not obvious exactly how, but not a super important part of player controller for purposes of testing this boss or testing boss tech. All right, we can run, we can jump, and I think that's all we care about at this time. So I think we can cross off those, or basically the clean up the player prototype so it can work properly in another scene. Because we're jumping around, we're moving, and based on the prototype. All right, so paint plan boss. A new canvas here. The first boss I want to make here is like a giant ball of rats. Go with our rat enemy boys. And I think maybe like a layout something like this. Just like pits over this, and then a small thing here perhaps. And then we would see rat like ads spawn in from the side, or maybe I'll use a different color. I want more space. Make this bigger. Sure. Okay, so enemies that come in from the sides. And while our main guy will just be like a big ball, be like hopping around. And just every time it does one of the big hops, it'll like lose a chunk of health and like spew out a bunch of rats. And you just survive for long enough and you win. I don't know if every boss is gonna be like that, but like there probably will be other like types of things you need to do other than just survive. It seems like just surviving is the simplest form of this, so it's a good place to start. All right. I guess I should make this a little bit more alt. Say, all right. Let me actually this up into. Say smart. I just need to make these bits up there, middle, side, covering the gap, upper. And then I'll be that 4 times. I don't want this. Mess me up. Okay, so I'm gonna make mark yellow for, I think I want this angle we send in, we're just sending in normal rats, they would just fall immediately to their death. We want to send in yellow hopping rats that can make this hop. And same deal for like this direction. I think the main rat guy will do red. Will, when he lands, do sort of rats and normal rats, which I guess I'll make. Got red, yellow, I don't know, gray. How about gray is like the rat color. So it'll just like spew at rats. but normal rats, so that you don't have to worry about them jumping. This way. And then I think if it makes sense, we'll do one more attack where it's just sort of like a charge the middle. That also will just spawn more rats. Big deal. So yeah, I think those are basically the three threats you'd have to worry about. Just a constant flow of rats jumping among the bottom, and then the rat king, the rat daddy, if you will, making like these big jumps or these big charges that spawn a bunch of basic rats and also damage the guy. And if he damages himself enough times, you win. Kind of like the Bane in Arkham Asylum thing, where he's just basically charging into a wall. You need to dodge him as his self-damaging attacks eventually get him. So it's kind of just a survival thing. Again, not what every boss is going to be, but I think it's the best place to start in terms of simplicity. All right. So we'll call that done paint planning the boss. Okay, next we need to make the boss scene. Which that means look at the main camera bounds and we make this sort of set of platforms. So I think we actually just go all the way to the edge. Yeah, let me for this. All this we don't need. This can all go away. And then our edges here are gonna have a little opening for our rat boys to enter. Small enough that the player can't fit. Tiles we have here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Wait, 1, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. So if we have 10 tiles on both sides to work with, maybe um we do 4. We could do 4 times 5. And let's see how that looks like. So 1, 2, 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. I think this is going to be too small. I think I'm going to give slightly more platform, less pit. Serious? Okay. This goes this way. Our rat entrance. Can make this, not really, you can't make it so I guess it could go all the way up. I was trying to think of like, how do I make it so you can't stand on it? This is the way. It gives you less space, but I think that's fine. I think you have enough space. Any more? I think we like just keep going and try out the actual fight with 4 for 4 here. Okay, but you do need sort of, I guess let's work backwards here. Like if we want the rat to be like 3 by 3, then the upper platform would be kind of up here. Up. And we can go ahead and copy that. Copy correct. You're disappointing. Ugh, fine. redraw it. This doesn't matter. I feel like I actually need a tiny bit more space here. Accomplish that. I'm gonna move it down, get rid of the, like, I don't need any, see the camera? Yeah, I only really need the very beginning of the pit. This is all wasted space. So we can scoot our guy up there. Camera again, we need 2 more. So 2 more, I think that's pretty much in the right ballpark. We can have 1 more than I think you would. And then we just add other 2. This can be paint. All right. So disappointed. I mean, I'm sure there is a way to copy paste that, but I just don't know. The obvious box select Control C, Control V. See, is this enough space to jump around without feeling restricted? I have way more space on the canvas. This box would. So let's use some of that additional space here. Was it? I guess it's all the way to the white box. Okay. All right, so we need to move everything like, and that means we have more for like platforms. This might need to change down the line because I was imagining slightly changing the window dimensions to be more friendly to play on a like portrait mode phone, since verticality is like ultimately the main thing. Yeah, we did down as well. Like 3, I guess. Okay. And now with this extra space, can extend our platforms. Up. By 1 is good, 1 on every side. And add more space between them here. Bumps. Let's go top. Okay. Also top. This bad boy. Why is this not line? Just this. 2, 3. Oh, I see. This whole thing is over by 1. Now it should line up. Same guide map. There. Then the above. All right, let's see. I think this should be enough space to maneuver. Like I can take the low path, can jump up to the high path. I think this looks like a good boss arena. So with that in mind, let's clean up the edges. It doesn't have to be perfect, like I said. A good chance this is going to be vert. Change the screen to vertical or vertical aspect ratio. Can take like the 2 seconds. Let's clean up the files. That's all this. All right. Now 50 edges on this. Up. This one needs that. Oh, and then we fix the middle. All right. Let's see. What's happened? Oh, I dropped the thing. Looks. Oh, I guess I should make sure it's 100%. Anytime the scale here isn't 1. This problem with this is it doesn't really have, unless it's super big, it doesn't have the like smash attack thing. We can do that bit last. I mean, we'll see the extent to which it might require some tweaks. All right. I'm gonna call this a win for the boss scene. Okay, boss controller. We want like a generalized script that other bosses can like inherit from. Um, to do like common things like appear, die, I don't know, like update. So let's make a new script like enemies. We have spawnables. I'm gonna make a folder. Bosses. Create C# script. Boss controller base. Okay, so let's see. I guess what callbacks do we care about? We probably want protected, virtual void, on spawn. Protected. I guess update we can just leave it to itself. Um, does this even need to be a base class? Like, what is it getting me that it'll call on spawn? I already have that basically start. And like, I might not even want to call it on start every time. Where am I even gonna call this? I'm gonna just. I think I go the other way with this. Um, where I just rename the boss controller. I just make it for this specific boss. And then when I'm looking at a second boss, that's when I look to generate shared functionality. Let's just about this boss. Stupid rename nonsense happened. What can you do? And I guess I gotta close it. Maybe I can actually change the font. You good? Happy Unity? Okay. So I guess we need serialized field, private game object, and boss prefab. What else? I guess in this case we need add prefab base, add prefab special. For like our core rats and our jumping rats. Then trying to think of what the best way is to incrementally test this. I think we just spawn them in first here. So, what does that look like? It's making the prefab, I guess. So we're gonna make, I guess, under enemies or not. Create folder, bosses. Under enemies, I'm gonna grab just the core rat. It's our start, just to see what kind of call this rat boss. I will move it into the bosses folder. The bosses folder. Now open up rat boss. Okay. So what does he have on him? Keep moving in a specific direction. We're gonna get rid of that. Translation, that's how he moves. Is clamped. Won't be necessary, I don't think. Destroyer, destroy and clamp. All this stuff. Velocity cap. Yeah, none of, I don't think we need any of this. Dang. So, I mean, like maybe I'll re-enable some of these, but at least for the beginning stages, yeah, I'm just gonna get rid of everything I don't need. So it's a sprite and a rigid body. Did I need to start from this? Not really. That's okay. 0, 0. Say 5, 5. Just want it to be a circle, really. Circle. So we'll just start with a circle. The plan longer term would be to have like a particle system that's like spawning rats in a like an ever a writhing type mass. Um, we'll just approximate that with a circle. I guess need a collider because the collider is really more on the knockback trigger. So get rid of. Still want knocking back and damaging others on trigger enter. So that we will keep. We're gonna switch from a box collider to a circle collider. And I think we also want our boss to be like 4 maybe. See if I drag it to a scene. It's 4, 4. I think so. Okay. Here's our big circle boss for starters. So let's see what this point is, and it looks like it's 0, 7. So I think there will be a like a I guess we might want to make this editable in the future, but for now let's just make it a private const. Okay, boss spawn position. Vector. Can't be const, of course. So on awake, we will make that boss spawn position. This and just the happy with that? Okay, cool. Okay. There's our boss spawn position. And for now, we will just spawn on start. We will have a different variable here for spawn boss. And we can say mSpawn boss equals mBoss spawn or instantiates. and boss prefab and what is the transform? Transform or K boss spawn position and quaternion identity for no rotation. Happy? Good. I'll be on start. And yeah, then nothing. Let's delete him from the level and make sure he spawns. We're gonna get rid of him. Create a new empty object we'll call boss controller. The add. Alright, let's make it at 0 just in case. Add the boss prefab. Is what, like rat boss. And while we're here, since we already know what we want these to be, the add prefab base is just rat. The add prefab special is jumping rat. And assets. Alright. So, as a quick little incremental test here, our boss should spawn in on the top platform there. But nothing will actually happen. Okay. To start, I guess. He did not collide with the world. Let's fix that. It has a dynamic rigid body. Oh, I see. Here we will need a collider on a rigid body. I think that actually should be a box. For its physics. Like since in a world where it's physics and it's the collision is separate, I can just like have a it's just sitting in a box basically for the purposes of physics because I'm gonna simulate a lot of this anyway. I basically only want it to permanently land on or like 3 platforms. Okay, he's up there. I can push him, which is kind of funny. Why isn't it damaging me? It should be. I hit the top, right? Bop, that should bop me, but it's not. Why is that? It's knockback trigger here. Damage other on trigger. Oh, I see. This circle collider needs to be a trigger. So with that change, hitting the boss should hit us. Yeah, bow. Ouch. Ow. It's interesting that only the first hit triggered the screen shake. Must be some. Oh, I might be dead. I have like 1 health. Well, no, I should have however much health I had the real game. Copied from the real game. Let's double check. Yeah, starting at 10. I don't know. I don't really care that much about the screen shake right now. I care about the boss. I'm not gonna get distracted. It's probably just something not hooked up with the test level and the real level. And for things that uniquely appear in the test level, I only really care if they impede my ability to test. Okay. So, I guess this distance is kind of far. Can I jumping around? I don't know. Let's find out. So I guess there will be 3 attacks, right? So we would have private, void, attack timer. Say he attacks every 5 seconds. It's actually a pretty long time in game time. It feels like a while. Or yeah, say an attack timer. Because we might speed it up as his health goes down. But we'll say an attack every 5 seconds. And since some of the attacks are like what's necessary to progress the fight along, we probably want all the attacks to happen like a deterministic way. So we will just say private int m attack offset. Basically use modulo here to always do 3 attacks in a row, but we'll start at a different point. Maybe it can be more random, but it's a good place to start. All right, 0. So, and the easiest attack I think is private void spawn special adds. And I want to see where they should spawn. So they spawn like here. That would be 17.5 negative, or I guess 17. Yeah, 17.5 negative 8.5. Say k add spawn right. Whoops. A Windows tab thing. 17.5 and the other one negative 8.5. Add spawn left. Same, but and let's add a little lip for them to spawn in on so they don't fall into depths of infinity. Okay. What's next? Next, I guess in spawn special adds, this is just gonna be local to the function. This might as well be local const float k spawn amount. Say k base spawn amount is 10. Should be an int. K random spawn range, we'll say 3. And we can say int spawn amount is k base spawn amount plus random range between k ren negative and positive. Okay, then we would have a private void spawn special add impl bool be right, or actually I pull it right here. Say for and I equals 0, I less than spawn amount. So I also have a const float k spawn delay 0.2 seconds. So this is k spawn delayed between stop on key combination. Spawn delay between and then the actual spawn delay. That number times I. Then just invoke. Can't type today. Spawn special add impl at spawn delay. Okay, and then here in spawn special add impl, it will roll a random direction. So we roll either 0 or 1, and it's right if that roll is 0. Then our spawn pos is if we're right, and it's k add spawn right. Else it is k add spawn left. N can go ahead, instantiate it, save it into a variable. This is like m special add prefab, yeah. Spawn pos quaternion.identity. We spawn that get facing thing. Get component facing. Facing dot set facing direction or right or left, depending on whether or not that be right is set. Then I think they also have like move special direction or something. We just have to tell them in addition to facing does control. Check. Move. Okay, yeah, QMBC move specific direction. N equals QMBC or spawn dot get component C specific. Just a semicolon here. Okay, so now we have the movement, and then we said movement dot set direction. You're right. Vector to right, else to left. Okay. Then let's so be m attack frequency, and then there also would be an attack timer that starts at 0. And then on update, we increment that attack timer. And if it's greater than the frequency, then we would like roll an attack here. But for now, we're just gonna spawn special adds. Okay, so spawn the game, or we start the game. Our guy should spawn. After 5 seconds, its timer will hit the attack frequency. Jumping rat should start pouring out of. So I spawned up, stuck in rat coat. My player back to the middle. Take a look from the game view. Okay. Our guy, 5 seconds. I feel like this is going to show 5 seconds. It's quite a second. Oh, didn't. Why is that? They do not have a facing, I suppose. See, it's weird. I thought. I don't know how they know to flip if they're facing. Whatever. Let's see. Maybe they don't flip. I guess they never swap their direction. They don't dynamically swap their facing. Just need to face them in the right direction to begin with. They all die. So I guess I need to extend. They have like a death box. So yeah, this destroy on clamp thing. Or is there CL? Okay, yeah. So I need to go to Amper spawn. I get components. CL. CL. ABB. Say clamper dot extent is bound. Set something? Set? What the heck? It's not. Okay, we'll add that. Click, void, set, bounce, bounce, speed. Okay. So we can say clamper dot set bounds. Center is still a vector at 0, but the size is 2. Okay, add spawn right times 25f. That just means like slightly to the left. 1030. Good. Vector 3. I can still just pass it to you, think? C3. Oh, is it wrong? Trying to make the compiler happy. Oh, I need this. Okay, so yeah, they basically have a box around them where if they hit the edge of the box, it won't let them move anymore and it'll kill them. That's like an idea for the main level. But in this level, which is like slightly bigger, and they're starting off the edge, they were just getting killed immediately. So let's see if that fixes that. They're still getting clamped. Built. Pause. This being question I have is this being updated time? Oh, and it's being set to 10. Oh, I think bounds constructor is taking like half distances. I wanted to take full distances. In 30 is probably, let's do 40. I'll add a note here. Using 2.5 because this takes a complete width and I tended to 1.5x times 1 as new. So yeah, the box was only 10 wide when we wanted it to be like 20 wide because we didn't understand exactly what we were passing to the constructor. All right, there's our big circle. Boys coming in. They come. See them. Are they getting stuck? And I think oh, they're going the wrong way. Ah, yes, I did it backwards. I think I've made this mistake before. They're all jumping down to their death. Um, that is because I said like, oh, if we're on the right, go to the right. This actually needs to be flipped. If we're on the right, we want to move to the left. If we're on the left, we want to move to the right. Move in opposite direction, spawn side. Now I feel like they probably are not going to be able to make this big jump. I might give them little stepping stones or maybe just increase their jump. We'll see. Hey, boys. All right, this is kind of progress. We got guys spawning, but not dying. Expect this game. 21. 20 is too much. 15 was roughly, or 30 down to half is. Why is this many spawning? That's the next question. Spawn amount. It's like this constant spawn of like 100 dudes. Not correct. I guess if we're spawning 10 dudes across dudes every 0.2 seconds. Right? That frequency. On delay between is just 0.2 seconds. So at worst, it could be 13 guys. 13 times 0.2 is something like 6. So I was wondering if it might be the case that just leads to constant spawning. Like if the frequency were low enough, the delay were high enough, it could be the case that there never is a break in spawning. Oh, but I see what the problem is. We're never resetting the timer. It wasn't here, but here just attack timer needs to be 0. All right, hop back into our game. Hopefully we see a handful of dudes instead of a constant output of dudes. And it looks like they don't have a facing. We were just like manually doing the flipping, so we can just manually do the flip. Our boys on the left here, they need their sprite flip. I think we put like 2 little hoppy points here. They can hop across in theory. Let's see. Up, up, up. I wonder if that's enough for them to hop across. Let's find out. Because they can hop if some for them to hop on. Or no, I guess they need. Well, that kind of works. Yeah, ish. They're only hopping if they fail their raycast, so it's not really considering it's not considering a pit the correct way. It was more intended to, although it will just functionally work if their hop is big enough. And since I'm not using them in the game, I might as well just juice up their hop until whatever it needs to be. So if I give them 1200 as their jump force, is that enough for them to make it across the chasm here? Because even though they're checking for walls, it'll still work. Because you can see the raycast here when they fall down. That's probably too much, but when they fall down, they register this upcoming wall. But it seems like only sometimes they have enough like reaction to jump. Raycast movement direction. I think this is what's being used. Let's turn the minimum block frames down to 1. I don't know, it should be at least 2 frames. But we can move the offset down a little bit more. So I think that'll make them more. Oh, it's even moved up. Yeah, let's move it down. I think that's what I would want. And a longer distance, and we can chill on the jump force, so it's a bit much. Don't need a fall multiplier. There is no low jump. Yeah, it's fine. Our boy spawns in, he waits his 5 seconds, then he spawns his little guys. I mean, it's kind of silly, but maybe this is just kind of what I intended. Yeah, it's not perfect, and like maybe it would make sense to tweak this more in the future, but I do think it like roughly is the behavior I'm going for. So I'm gonna put those little stepping stones on the other side as well. Um, then I'm gonna fix that rat flip thing, and then I'm gonna move on to the next attack. So the flip thing is here where we were trying to get facing, and it turned out there was no facing. Instead, we just want to get the sprite renderer. Um, Really, we only want to do this one on the left, where it's wasteful. Just say our flip X. All right. So those guys on the left hopefully will be facing the right direction now. Yeah, I mean, it's not perfect. They do look a little stupid at the end there, but this is roughly the behavior I wanted. Where it's just kind of, if we have the main guy hopping from like here to here, and hopping on these platforms, then, what's the word? And we want something also happening along the bottom track. Just so there's like a good distribution of danger. All right. Sorry, just give me like literally 2 minutes here. I just ran out of water, and I'm worried if I don't fill up my water bottle, get a headache. Say 90 sec. All right, be right back. All right, I'm back. See, I told you, it wasn't that bad. Okay, so let's set up his jump attack now. What happened? Why is this non-responsive? Okay, I think we're good. So, jump attack. Private, void, jump attack. I think we want to give our boss guy just a standard jump component. And, you know, we might want to like override it a little bit, like just like calculate jump force at runtime to get to these like two different very distinct spots. But we still would want to do that in the context of like piggybacking off the just existing jump component app. So I'm gonna go to my boss, add Q jump jump. I'm gonna say no on require grounded because like we're just controlling it in code. Fall multiplier, sure. Low jump multiplier won't happen. That's like a player input thing. All right, let's see. Jump attack. So What happens if I just... I guess I want to get my jump at the start, like as soon as I spawn the guy. I don't want to get it every time I want to do my jump attack. Um, you jump, jump. M spawn boss jump. So I can just grab that as soon as I spawn the guy. Where is that? Oh, it's at the bottom here. So we say M spawn boss jump is just M spawn boss dot get components jump jump. Insert mode. I've never once turned on insert mode on purpose. Have you? Sound off in the comments in the chat if you have ever hit insert mode on purpose. I've only ever fat fingered it by accident while trying to use the navigation keys like home and page up, page down, or delete. Anyway, I'm kinda, since this is a uniform distance, it would be nice if I could just like not have to care about calculating stuff on the fly, if I could just find the correct value. I don't know if that'll be the case. But I do want to see what it looks like if I just tell him to jump. If I say spawn boss jump dot jump, or like do jump. Oh, just nothing. It was just. Let's just. I'm curious. Jump attack. Something. So it's not like alternating between the attacks. Now he'll just like jump. When he starts that spawn routine. I'm just curious what his jump. See if it works. See if something breaks. You know, just a good idea to around here. Jumping. Okay, this is a little hot. It's definitely not gonna be enough. Um, guess he's not jumping subsequent times. Right? I think there might. Let me take a look at the jump code. I think I might have made a bad assumption there. Just further developing it for the player's purpose that broke it from a more general perspective. Let's take a look inside. Because like M allowed jumps. When is this actually resetting? I think it's only. Or what is it being jump counter? Yeah, basically, I think okay, yeah, it's only doing it on land, which is firing ungrounded. All right, it does need it grounded. Oh, it already has one. It got added automatically, but it's never thinking it's grounded. I'm gonna tell it's grounded if it hits the world and give it a very generous grounded radius because I don't really want it to actually be blocked. All right, so should let our boy up there multi-jump. Feel like all those rats should behave the same. I don't understand where the randomness in their behavior is coming. Alright, it certainly looks like he is still not jumping. If I grab him, does it look like he should be grounded? Doesn't even require grounded. Jump counter shouldn't even... Yeah. Jump allowed grounded. Okay. Should be an or. Right. Actually, I don't even think this. I think this is not necessary. I think we're good. The multi-jump, and I don't think that breaks anything. See, I can find out what does break something. Crap. Okay, this does need to be an and. I guess why is he not registering his landing? Oh, I guess he's too big. It has a if it has a radius, it's a size or a diameter 4 circle. So obviously checking downwards by how much am I checking downwards by? 1. That's he's still inside himself. He needs at least a grounded radius of above 2. Let's try 2.1. All right. So, first hop. This is the Perspective Boss Arena. Give our boys jumping platforms to jump across. And then we are going to have our main guy jump here and here. So we're just in the middle of adding his jump now. But yeah, I was running into some weird stuff with where he wasn't detecting he was grounded, so his jump was never resetting. I really would love to understand why is this not deterministic, you know? All these rats have the same properties, so what is causing them to have such wildly different outcomes? Strange. Yeah, again, I don't want to get hung up on the exact behavior of the rats. It's kind of tangential. If I can spawn the rats, that's good enough from the boss's perspective. So we fixed the issue. No, they don't. They should be just raycat. Here, I think they actually debug draw enough information to like determine what they're doing. He does this little hop. Now we're spawning rats. Oh, I see. It's too far down. So see this red is saying like, hey, I see something I want to jump over. But because it's so far down, it's immediately triggering. Good idea you pointed that out. I'm gonna check that. I can fix that. Jumping rats. This offset is too much. Try that much. Why is the ray that disconnected because of this? It's just where is it? I just messed up with it. Oh yeah, just there's a distance, there's an offset, and I just made the offset too much. There's also minimum block frames to avoid, you know, like a tic-tac type flip back and forth rapidly behavior. Let's see here, they look better now. Yeah, and then they fall down, and then as they fall, they'll detect their next stepping stone. Hop up. Again, I don't know why they have such. Why are they not have consistent behavior? I don't know. I guess it's a little bit more consistent now, but still not as consistent. Okay, I gotta get off the bottom here. It's consistent as I would expect. All right, but that's tangential. Let's get out of our jump controller here. We fixed the little jump thing. So this jump attack, 400 force, definitely not enough. It's only making him do like a tiny little hop. Give him like 800 double. And he also will need some movement here. I think just moving in a specific direction is fine. Yeah, move translation is fine. Actually, let's do physics-based movement for our boy here. Can move platformer, I guess, would be the closest. I don't know. Make a upward gust of wind on those holes the rats are gonna jump across. Like before they jump or as they spawn. I'm definitely gonna do a telegraph that they're about to spawn. Being real with you, like based on my understanding of the rat jumping code, I don't understand why it's not Oh, sure, sure. Just to better communicate the idea that like, hey, these rats are jumping around. Yeah. Um, I don't think this would actually be like a level one boss. It's just sort of the simplest concept. That's why I started with it. But yeah, I hope that I will either have like a different sprite or they will already been introduced to the idea of jumping rats in the previous level before we actually get here. So which makes me think it's maybe more like a boss 2, 3, or 4, perhaps. If we're sticking with the same level plan, where level 1 is like the meadow and level 2 is the woods, I think this probably would be a good woods area boss. You do this in like an evil tree or something. Not sure what I'm gonna do for the plains. I guess maybe chickens. Chickens can be the theme of one, but I'm not sure about the other one. Anyway, so we gave our dude more jump. In addition to his jump, we want his movement, which we'll just use 4 directional physics, and we'll only use 2 of the directions. It's fine. No, move towards. Yeah. Yeah, I think it would still do that. Not now, though. I mean, we'll see. With an hour left, I know we'll see. If I can get him jumping, like jumping is half the battle here. Um, and then the first part of the here, let me hop back to the my plan here. I guess you can say general boss controller. I kind of decided not to make a base class because it felt like over engineering. I said I'm going to instead make a specific boss and then generalize once I have multiple bosses. I have a better idea of what the common needs are. And ad spawning, we have ad spawning. Actually, I'm going to leave this open because I think this should be, I'll call it half done. Because we hop back to our plan, we want this jump also to spawn some basic rats. Like that are actually like spewing out of the Rat King is the idea. Um, and that's also sort of how it's like losing health. It's just the force of these like big squishy jumps. We're gonna use our same like player squish animation, but we're gonna turn it up. It's gonna be a very squishy circle. Um, but these squishy big heavy jumps are gonna like break free some spat rats, which will decrease the boss's health. Um, and eventually you'll beat it that way. Anyway, we need the boss's movement to actually make like the full arc of the jump here. The jump only lets us go up and down. Um, Till otherwise, I always like to grab the general movement interface that they all like the base class interface. So then if I change my mind and I want to give them a different movement type, hopefully it still works. Um, where are our getter type junk? Yeah, this. Say a movement is m spawn boss dot get component q move I movement. Um, and then in addition to do jump, we say I'm spawn boss dot movement. Oh right, and spawn boss. Int. What's the problem? Did I not? Oh, I just said M movement. I should rename that. I want to keep this consistent. Oh yeah, I forgot to ask before you went and do it. What coding project are you working on, Tice? I think maybe I did ask, but you were already gone. I was curious. I remember at some point you were working on like a magic XML thing. Still doing that? Are you doing scripting for Roll20 stuff? Anyway, spawn boss movement. What content generation for Pathfinder? Um, just call move. Am I allowed to call move? Yeah, it's public. Okay, so just move. I didn't mean to enter debugging. Okay, but system agnostic, but towards like tabletop games, tabletop RPGs type stuff. We'll just move to the right. And wow, I don't have an override for this that just uses a vector movement scale of 1. I feel like I should. Oh my god. Oh, there. Okay. And I'm also gonna switch his movement to impulse, because it basically is impulse, right? It's these like I don't need him to generally move. I just need um like just these little bursts of movement. I spell spawn ball. So for instance, oh, so like are you basically like taking existing monster manuals um and stuff and like parameterizing them such that can then use it as an aid in generating your own stuff. All right. This guy's move needs to be like 500. It's force, it's not. Uh Dude, I remember this not being like obvious from that catapult game I made. Um, like if you wanna, so I'm just gonna honestly get. I feel like if since these are equidistant, I feel like I can just guess and test. How many is it gonna take? I say that and watch me have to try like freaking 15 values, but the actual code to just calculate the arc of a jump is like kind of annoying. How is 700? Oh no, I might have to actually calculate it. How is 700 like nothing, but 900 is like all the way to the right? But I really only need to find two forces here. I need to find the force from the middle to one of the downwards, and I need to find the force from one of the downwards back to the middle. What is this? I must have missed a save or something. Um, so tough. I think I'll bump that to 650. I think it'll land pretty much in the center. It should actually just be solvable. Like forget about guess and test, right? I should know. Look at that. Why 600 is like nothing, but 650 is everything. You know what I think it might be? I think it might have been a bad assumption. Put it in like a box glider, like a bucket. It's possible that it is dragging on the bottom more than I would expect it to. Let's switch you to like a capsule glider or something. See, its damage collider is using a circle, but um it's like physics collider is using this half box. Um, let's change that. Give me like I still want it to be like kind of more stable than a circle would be, but I can just use a horizontal capsule collider for that, I think. Horizontal 0.5 or something. Show me. Uh, it's still 800. Oh, I see. I was missing. Oh yeah. I understand. All right. Hopefully this will be roughly right. All right, let's see. So the idea would be that I eventually, hey, generate a cool monster and should be able to go generate the prompt and feedback to a LLM. Oh, it's like an AI integration tool. Oh, damn, I didn't watch my boy jump here. I'm pretty sure it was wrong though if he ended up on the far right. I think it's so weird that like 600 is pretty much there and 620 is like way overshooting it. How is that six? You know what? Maybe I do just want to use translation-based movement after all. Like, cause translation-based movement, I can 100% just solve it. Like, this isn't even behaving consistently for me. Wait, I was gonna ask, do you have access to like APIs? Do that? I don't need it. You know what I mean? Like, can you truly automate it, or is it just going to generate? Wow, look at the difference. Can you truly automate it, or is it going to generate like a prompt that you would then manually feed in? It's free to just like call an API? That's surprising to me. All right, that's it. Physics-based movement annoyed me enough. We're going to crappy translation-based movement. 'Cause now I can say, okay, I want to generate enough velocity that I fall a distance of basically, where's my, all right, so this is 0, right? And then this is -7. Okay. So if the jump force is 800 and the mass is probably 1, then I think gravity is like just estimated at 10. So how long does it take for you to lose all your? It's not free. You have monthly. Oh, I see. I see. Um, yeah, I don't know. I still haven't personally done that much AI stuff. The most AI stuff I've done is where they replaced one of the bots at work, um, with ChatGPT base. It was a lot better. Like actually, like gave me good, long, detailed answers to my questions and could handle follow-up questions. It was good. This boys, I'm looking. Uh, buses. There he is. So I want to be able to go a distance. I checked the distance and I totally forgot it. Distracted by -7. Okay, so -7. It's probably what is -7 divided by like whatever a 16th of a second is. You know what I mean? Like a frame. 45? Try that. That would be my like random wild ass guess. Um, if I am getting that much more stuck on this or it's becoming what? I just I'll just build it into this. I just know where I want to go, right? Um, I can just stop going then. Um, so be something like private. I don't want it to be in the build. private void do jump horizontal moves. And let's also add, we want to subscribe to on land, private void on land, so we know we're done jumping. It's a like private cool. I am jumping. It's false. You feel like you'd be willing to like, I guess, like, what is your price threshold where you'd be like, nah, I'm not doing that? Is there a price threshold where like, okay, this provides enough value to me in tabletop RPG monster generation that I'm willing to give him like, say, $5 a month or something? Okay, so yeah, we reset this jump flag, land, set it when we do the jump, and we just need to add the subscription to that event. So we say spawn boss up get and nope, I have to go to the grounded. Annoying. Makes sense. I think that's actually a good separation of jump grounded and plus equals not you, not you. Land. Okay. So on land, we'll reset the flag. So now we know whether or not we're jumping. And basically, what we can say here is if we're jumping, just put this in an else. We don't roll the boss time. We don't count the time we jump as a part of like rolling attacks. And we can say we'll call this helper to do the horizontal aspect of the jump. 30 if that's like a huge subscription, $30 to $50 a month. Do you use other services that charge that much? So I know you subscribe to some Patreons and stuff that make like maps and stuff like that, but I didn't think they would be anywhere near that. So private float M lower platform X7. So here our movement function this only if M. I know if I'm going. We'll just assume we're going right as like an incremental test here. We'll worry about sometimes going left in a second. But basically the idea here is, okay, I'm just gonna set a movement speed. I'm not really gonna worry about it that much, and I'm just gonna say, okay, when I get to the X I want to get to, I'm gonna zero the velocity. I'm gonna stop the horizontal movement. 4 times map making Patreons incarnate. I feel like I would try and look for one mega map making Patreon that I subscribe to. Like I just find a guy like, but I guess it's like, if you want to see that kind of work supported, that's also cool. Um, anyway, M spawn boss transformed position is less than whatever constant I just made. Did I not put a K? K. Should be a const. It's less than lower platform F. Keep moving. Still moving. This if still moving, else we're gonna, what is your problem here? Oh, position.x. Here, there, more or less movement, dot, like, I guess we want to own it, your body, 2D, blah, 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 var RB, and rigid body has a D in it. RB dot velocity. I think this is bad practice. Don't try this at home, kids. But if you have some very, very specific, I'd say like I want this guy to move to this specific position, you can either solve that in real time, which would like be a whole thing, let me tell ya, or just throw this in. I mean, we'll see. Maybe I'll end up eating my words that this is like really inconsistent and I'm not happy with it, but I have a feeling this is gonna be just good enough. And like in a world where I know exactly where I want to jump to, why overcomplicate things? So yeah, we keep whatever the y velocity was, but we zero out the x velocity. Let's try that. I guess it's only like probably like what, $5 or $10 for your average map Patreon. I don't know if that's true for map making Patreons as well, but like podcasts usually $5 is the standard. Okay, he needs more movement speed. It's like he isn't even making it to where he's supposed to get. Um, the whole idea here is we can run past it because it's gonna stop when it gets to where it's supposed to be. So if he doesn't have enough place to get there in the first, if he doesn't have enough speed to get there in the first place, like needs more. So I gave him 4 times more speed. He should actually reach it very quickly. You going, my man? Kind of dumb looking. We probably want to find something closer to the correct distance, but yeah, it looks like that pretty much works to estimate. Even less than that. We want to get kind of close. It looks like it's running into a wall that is not there. See, that time, it definitely got blocked, but you barely noticed. And then it only knows jump into the left, so it's gonna stay there forever. Okay. So let's make this more flexible. I guess I want him to pick a random direction, and then we also have to set up the jump back. But first, let's make it so it can support left, I guess. I guess I just add another like state bool here, and I'm jumping right. And then in our jump attack here, say M jumping right is equal to just the same random roll of between 0 and 2, which is exclusive, or it's the max is exclusive. So that'll roll either a 0 or a 1, and if it's a 0, we'll jump right. Oh, range. Right? Yeah, we're good. All right. So, and then here, if still moving is if M jumping right. For jumping right, it's the same check as before. However, if we're jumping left, and I can put this in parentheses just to be extra double safe, it is the opposite of this in the negative direction. And then here, where the actual movement happens, we can have a var mover, jumping right. I love tertiary operator. I just want to use tertiary operator everywhere. Left. Or not left. Move there. Okay. Technically, I guess I should. We're gonna cross our fingers and hope he jumps left. But there's a 50-50 shot he won't. Ah, dang, we lost. I mean, it'll try to jump back to the middle, but I have a feeling the jump back to the middle will need extra jump force. Yeah, see, it doesn't. It needs to got some up to make. So I guess a third. We just have like our own like state block here. They should probably go into a struct maybe. On lower platforms, false. And then where the jump is, it's just flips, right? You can do this. But we need two different jump forces. Dang. I feel like I should boost our Discord servers. I feel like that's a slacker thing. Because I actually, from Amazon Prime, I have 3 months of Discord Nitro. So I might as well boost a few servers. Probably if you're going through the solution using a basic state machine, set whichever state to whichever platform it is. Oh yeah, that is a good point. Silent Mag is there. Because if I jump down to the right, I no longer can randomly roll. The only jump is up into the left, so I still need to know which platform. I need to know the direction as well. So yeah, you're right. Just on lower platforms is not enough. Maybe have a private enum platform, or I guess boss platform. Upper is 0. I like this naming. Well, I guess in C# you can, it's like prefix and stuff. Upper 0, left 1, right. So is this the syntax? Is this only in C++? Can I do that? No, can't. Private, boss platform, and boss platform. Okay. Cause now we can just like make our helpers, right? Instead of on lower platforms, oops. We have like I guess maybe, I don't know, it can just probably be in the jump spec, right? I don't necessarily need to helperize it to death. Like jump attack is only 4 lines. It can hold this. It's okay. So if boss platform equal platform.upper, then we still have this. Else jumping right equals boss platform left. Right, so what this is saying is, okay, if I'm on the upper platform, I'll pick a random direction. If I am on If I'm not on the upper platform, then I'll jump to the right if I'm currently on the left platform. And then I think we want two different jump forces that we can just cache at the same point. Because I want to just also just change the state at this point. So I don't want to have to like remember what my previous state was. But let me see what my boy's current this is under scripts. Man, I just have too many things. I wonder if there's a better way to organize this. I mean, I'm already using lots of folders and stuff, but there's just so many I never. Okay, 800. We'll say private float m jump force to lower. Yeah, we can probably get away with 750. To upper. Say we need about 1250. I don't know. We just mess with it. And they're consts actually. Okay. So here you can say, or I'll just set it right here. I don't need to cache it actually. Jumping or M spawn boss jump or something. Yeah, set jump force to is it K something? This is why I like prefixes, because boom, and IntelliSense work for me. Jump force to lower. And here K jump force to upper. And then say and boss platform here is what are you doing? Boss platform is if I'm jumping right, then boss platform dot right. Oh, it's boss platform dot left. Optus. And here it's just always going to be upper. Okay. So it's possible we might want different like move speed, like horizontal forces between upper and lower. But let's try out this incremental thing. I think this should be enough that it will apply. First of all, it will know to jump to the back to the middle direction, and it will also apply a stronger jump force. Will that jump force be enough? I have no idea, but let's find out. Okay. Now as you jump in, oh rats, why are you so dumb? Sometimes they're smart, sometimes they're dumb. All right, it only needs a little bit more. And I think this can even get a little bit less, something like this. I think this will probably be one of the bosses that's included as I get an initial like beta version out to gather feedback and stuff. But I do need to like figure out why these jumping rats are so stupid before that. I'll see like some of them get it. I don't know. Now they're all. Oh, you know what? Yeah, see that guy figured it out. Yeah, I don't know, they rarely are figuring it out. I think I might have accidentally reduced their jump too much. Getting distracted by the wrong thing. This isn't really what I'm working on. I know in my heart I can just change one number. Maybe see them perform a lot better, so I just want to. Resources, prefabs, enemy, jumping rat. I might have accidentally messed. No. Oh. See, the like double jump sticky bounds might be messing it up. So we'll mess with that. We'll mess with, say, like this. Give it a little bit more. 1,000, and then the raycast thing that actually makes them jump maybe slightly less. I think that actually is messing it up a little bit, and I think going down is messing it up. Maybe that'll fix it. If it doesn't, I don't want to get fixated on this. It's more about the boss. I don't want to. I'll fix the ads at some future time, probably offline. I want to get the full skeleton of this boss. So he's hopping around on the big platforms, hopefully forcing me off the small platforms. See, that's the gist I'm trying. Oh, good. Our jumping rats are also. See, I told you, just a little bit of tweaking those parameters, and they're back to being much more consistent. Although some of them are still falling to their deaths. See, our boy is hopping along. Yeah, so yeah, it looks pretty good. I think I want to add one more attack. Maybe my concern with this is there's still like, ooh, I just fell to my death. But let me relaunch it. There's still like a known save zone that might be too much, making it like too easy, especially since you don't have to do anything other than survive. I guess I'm still adding the I have to add spawning of gray rats, but I just know that like for example when he's hopping down oops there, like I'm just safe as the day. It's just beautifully safe here. So I think I want to do two things. Going back to my plan, I want to still add this sort of like random feeling arc spawning of gray rats, just like the normal dumb rats. And maybe some other. The idea here is this would be like smashing into the side platform, but in making there be more space. I don't know that works the same. Oh, I died. There's no UI to tell me I died. This boss test level. Yeah, I think let's get those other rats spawning. Uh, so let me take a look at what they have on them. They have velocity cap. Um, They have a rigid body, I think. Need to have one. Yeah, okay. Cool. So when they land here, I want to first of all copy some of the same code, do a little copy pasta. But fewer probably somewhere from 3 to 7. And also a much I don't even think we need. Yeah, it should be a slight spawn delay, but it can be much smaller. Because they're gonna be going in like different directions, whereas the jumping rats from the like our two like entrance holes here are all coming from the same position. That's why the spawn delay is more important. In fact, talking about it, they were stacked too much for my liking. I'm gonna give them even more spawn delay, and I'm gonna make more of them. I don't feel like it was enough. I want the bottom to be like relatively unsafe. Yeah, we're going in a couple different directions, so it does not matter as much. So on land, I guess we want private void spawn basic add impl that we would similarly call from an invoke. Have like sort of a staggered spawning of guys. Let's grab. A lot of this is just the same. Yeah, let's just grab this as a starting point. I'm gonna cut a lot of it out, I think. Okay, we still spawn position is just gonna be my position, right? I'm gonna spawn out of my rat ball. So not spawn position, just transformed up position. And instead of add prefab special, it's just like add prefab basic. Yeah. Guess not. What is it? Base. Close. I was so close. And these guys have facings? Yeah. So instead of sprite renderer spacing. Movements, deal with this in a second. Because I want to add a force to them. So if I say spawn get component rigid body 2D bar RB, and I can just do like add force, right? Yeah, because I want them to be shooting out of the boss. So I kind of want like, I guess I want a semicircle. Is that something that Unity can just do for me? Hemisphere? Yeah. I guess I can do inside unit circle and then just get the absolute value of y. You know what I mean? Because that, if I want it to only be up, then if I roll in a down half of the unit circle, we just flip it. Forster, I guess. Then we would say Forster equals vector2 Forster.x, and then the absolute value of Forster.y, and also normalized. Okay. Then I think this we still need because that will kill our guys. But let's not care about the movement for a second. Let's just see if this spawns the guys and shoots them out. Forster, and then I guess we want like a similar set of randoms. Float, I guess const float. Kit. Oh my gosh, I type so fast that I have to retype it 10 times because I swap letters. So efficient, max efficiency. Okay, min force. I don't know, 300. Okay, on page down by accident. I don't know where I was. Okay, here I am. Okay, max force 700. I don't know. Float spawn force is random. Range. Okay, max force. Fat finger all the time. There I got because I fat fingered a period instead of a comma. Forster times spawn force. All right, let's see what happens. So the idea here is when he does his jump now, like basic non-jumping gray rats should spawn out of the circle. It certainly did not. Why is that? Am I not, did I copy paste yep, that's exactly what I did. I copy pasted the invoke call, so I was just spawning more special adds on the side. I wasn't calling the new function. Oh, that was not right. That was not right for sure. Oh, I guess it... Why do you think your position is wrong? Oh, I'm using the boss controller's position, which is at 0, 0. Here, where it's transform position, instead I need to use spawn boss .transform.position. And also on land, I care. I think I actually will, when I have a nicer version of this, I think I want to drop them in from the top and then I do want to first land to spawn stuff. What happened? Oh, I just quit the game. Unity. Not paying attention. I don't feel like the force is correct. It's being overpowered by gravity almost immediately when I really do want a feeling of them like shooting out. I think maybe I just need to add impulse instead. Is that an option? The flag here? Is it like a different overload of this? Yeah. I feel like I feel like I have a general vague understanding of the difference between force and impulse, but if you asked me to explain it to like a kid, I definitely couldn't. Okay, now it's way too much. Um, and an annoying part of this is since rats are like set to fade in and stuff, so not like. See, I bet they are shooting out in the satisfying way that I want, but they're just invisible when they initially spawn, so I'm not seeing that. What I might want to do here, take a look at these rats, right? Um, See this like enable movement after delay and this animator. Might just want to like make a boss variant of this. Let's do that. Rat boss variant. Now I can get rid of, well, enable movement after delay I still want. Movement, maybe I want a lot of this. It's really just the animator I want to change here. Where, yeah, this grow and appear, it's like starting at 0. I guess if that is all it is, let me see. Let me hop back to my rat. Is it really just the animator that I'm changing? If that's the case, I can just make that a part of. Impulse is not time dependent and force is time dependent. Base, you can say force multiply internally by delta. Oh, I got you. I got you. So it's not being like, it's saying like I want 500 like newtons, I get unity newtons or however they're implementing it. Um, where and then like it would be like for force it's like multiplied by delta time, I suppose, so you get a way smaller number than you intended. So I guess using impulse could maybe have like lag. You were getting atypically low frame rates. That might be a problem. But I don't know, I'm not that worried about that for this. It's like my dumb little 2D jumping game. So yeah, I was taking a look at this prefab, right? Um, what actually do I want to be different? And I think it is just I'm already turning off the clamper, so I don't really care about that. It really is just this animator, so I'll just fix it. I can just say var ani equals spawn get component animator ani dot set animation. It's like set state or something. What am I doing? Player animation. Show me what I'm doing. Animator dot play. Okay, is the call I want. Just gonna skip over the typical spawn animation and go right to rat walk here. Hopefully that is, let's see. It will look a little janky while we're still a circle. Yeah, I mean it's too much, but it's the idea I had in my head. All right, try something like way down like that. The other thing I wanted to, there's one other thing I wanted to do. Oh, more guys. Yeah, there's too few. I guess in this implementation, they are kind of like functioning similarly to bullets, right? It's spewing out. I guess, yeah, because I'm only applying the force at the moment of like spawning. They don't have a thing on them that is like constantly considering the force. So I do think in this case impulse is what I want. All right, so we turn the impulse down though. Ooh, too many. It's still like way too much. That. Am I like missing something? Yeah. I just need to. My mind's in like the jump force, which is in like the. Yeah, that's pretty much getting where I want it to be. It's still kind of silly. Um, but I guess I actually want a greater delay just to sort of milk the effect for longer. Um, a little bit longer. And I also just want to keep bringing this down till we find a. Probably want to close the range too to reduce kind of like the noise contribution. You know what I mean? So it's not like what I'm seeing is actually like reliably a indication of like what's gonna happen. It reduces the chance of outliers. Um, here's the thing. I want it to be mostly up. I mean, like that one I think is pretty much good. Although I think it's still a little bit too wild. That's 12. I don't want to just be like tweaking numbers and recompiling all day. Um, it is funny. I mean, but let's yeah, it's not enough now. All right, last tweak I promise, and then I'm moving on to the next thing. Say 14, 18, 14, 20. I mean, I care about the functionality here. I can spend time. Oh yes, that one was pretty good. This is the oh that guy got stuck in the got stuck in the thing. I think I also might restrict the range to be a tighter than 180 degrees. When they're going out like far left, it does look kind of silly. Um, yeah, let's all that my Unity or my all this done. Don't have idle movement. I think it's just going to be an animation. No visuals really, except I was going to say let's try and get one thing in here as a particle system, get a little funnier looking. I want to see if like the core idea looks decent. That I had would be just like using those same gray rat prefabs in like a particle system to simulate like the idea of like a giant rat king basically. So let's open up our fabs, bosses, rat boss, and we look at this. Add a particle system and renderer. Just use sprite. Oh, right. I guess to use a texture, I'm gonna have to make a new material. So I already have this. I can use that as like the same idea. Go ahead and duplicate sprite base particle and call it sprite rat particle. Where was I setting this? This texture, so is it below? We're going to totally forget I set this texture. Is it on the material? Is it on the, yeah, so, sir, the bug move? Oh, I just dragged it, I remember. Okay, so I guess I go to graphics, sprites. Must be a better way. This seems so dumb. Um, Unstable identity. I gotta be real with you. You sound like a bot, and you know, I'm just yeah. I don't really want you advertising it. Sorry. Uh, okay. Yeah. So for some reason, just like drag it on, I guess. Eh. Again, there must be a better way, but just move this over into enemies. Now I can drag rat. Can I? I guess I don't. I feel like this should be. Oh, okay. I need a different. Basically, I just need a different sprite. I guess diffuse is what I want. It's frustrating though. Like I feel like this should be a dead simple thing. Guess not. Oh my god, I didn't think this is what I would be hung up on. Oh, it's never what you expect to be hung up on, eh? Clearly, I figured out how to do this in the past, because um, I'm not. It's this telling me to drag the sprite, but I don't know where I drag the sprite. Oh, okay. Let's see that. Where I drag it on like. See, that lets me change the material, but I'm not sure how I associate the sprite with the material. Clearly, I did it before because I have this little like dumb little custom particle. Basically, edit. Uh, Unity is like really letting me down today. Have a texture sheet animator on the particle that lets put an animated sprite in. Yeah. So I have like I made a new material here, right? I assign that new material to the particle system, but I don't remember how I assign the sprite to the material. So wait, this particle, like I don't see booked in unless it's in one of these. Do I have to open like I didn't mess with the default sprite shader tip. No, I'm just trying to use sprite default. Make it, I guess what I can do I think will work. Not sure if it'll work in like happy collaboration with everything else is I can say um here base it on something else. Unlit. Aha! Aha! I need to use a different base shader. There you go. Then I can select rat 0 or is it called something else? Oh, rat. Oh, it's the whole sprite sheet. Why? Dude, I don't even think I care about that. I don't want to waste one freaking second worrying about that. Do pop pop. Oh, that's where the streams are. Just gonna get the sprite. I guess it's also possible that I may want to slightly tweak the sprite if there's some aspect of it that doesn't work well. Or the doesn't work well as a particle. Yeah, I do. I don't know. Just because I'm like getting the end where I need to get ready to hop off and go to bed soon. I'm just gonna take the easy way out here and say sprites, particles, all this wrap particle. Now I just have it as a single texture. I can assign it. I do want to use the full like little sprite sheet there. I think it'll add to like the feeling of movement, and like chaos of like a rat king. But for now, since yeah, just like I said, I gotta finish up. We're just gonna make a new sprite. We do need to go into our sprite and standard properties, no filtering, no compression, 32 pixels per unit. All right. So now that we change this to wrap particle, we can hop this back out to the materials folder. I had it in there for dragging purposes. Okay, now we go back to our prefab for our bosses, wrap boss. I think I need to set something with alpha. This is definitely not actually respecting alpha. Is it because it's based on Why would you not care about alpha? Is it built into the rat itself? Center. Yeah, input texture alpha. Alpha is transparency. Oh, I think I need that. No. Whatever. We're close enough. I just wanna. I'll make the like the feel of the particles. Um, and I can worry about the texture and the animation and stuff after. So I want a mission. This shape is probably fine. It's like roughly a circle. Box. Nah, yeah. I think sphere is pretty much. And you would want the start speed time to be like way lower because you want it to hit like the edge. Sure, add some noise. Render. Starting rotation I think is a good idea here as well. That's a rotation over lifetime. Fortunately, this is their texture sheet animation. Would that be like? Is there like a texture sheet based material I could base my rat boy on? Oh, right. I guess what I want here is a particle force field to pull the boys in to give it like a ball. Oh, I got you. I can take. Well, let me time here. Trying to remember. There's something you have to set where of lights is part of the particle system. Something I have to take a look at this material. Ah, lit system. See, I have okay. So like as a standard unlit particle, it does have my rat texture as the albedo. Why? Why pink? I just need to reset it. Eh? No, I didn't like that. Standard surface or standard. We need to reset it here. No. Alright, I'll just. Sure. RP. Sure. Oh, like speed tree. Not sure. I think you're right that this is what I want here. Particle standard unlit with the albedo map set to just the rat texture. I don't know why it's coming through as pink. It said it had like it was missing the like whatever vertex shader streams, which now it has the streams it needs. I don't know. But I'm just gonna go to texture so get a better view. I know I'm gonna have to dig into that offline. I don't want I don't want to like just record myself fumbling through menus. I guess that's a large portion of what I'm doing, eh? All right, we add external forces. All right, now we can pull our boys in. With our gravity field here. Want hmm. I wonder why it's capturing some of them, but no, oh, I guess probably not enough range. Okay, yeah, that's starting to get towards the idea. It's probably a little bit too aggressive. Um, Probably a larger range, smaller gravity, and then just like rotation. Um, so that's like rotation over or rotation. Rotation over a lifetime. Yeah, it looks silly right now with box rats, but I have a feeling this is roughly what I'm looking for if I can replace it in with my proper rats. Um, let's just give it. I just want to make sure. Oh no, it's way bigger than I want it to be. Because this green circle is the whole size, so yeah, we need to significantly decrease the particle size and like the ranges and stuff. Like 0.1 maybe? Nah. Eh. And then yeah, we reduce like the speeds and stuff to go along with that. That also means reducing the particle system force fields, strength. I think I just want even less start speed, perhaps. Guess they're getting like too much gravity, I think. Causes them to like slingshot through the middle, or yeah. See, when they don't have enough speed for the gravity to fight against, um, they you slingshot through the middle, and then the gravity doesn't catch them in time. Limit velocity over a lifetime. Drag, yeah. All right, now I feel like this is kind of what I want, except just like too chaotic still. It wants to be like more writhing. So just keep pulling down our values. Close. It's pretty much what we want. I guess it's like slightly bigger than the true hitbox. Um, I'm just like, this is more just tweaking values, but I feel like particle systems is the fun version of just tweaking values. I'm just keep turning it down. Get a little bit more chill. And I guess the rotation is also like a little bit not chill. Guess I need more gravity. Yeah, I guess it's a problem is the gravity. I want the gravity to keep it in a circle, but if I give it too much gravity, then it's like a little bit too fast. Oh, maybe I can just decrease the simulation speed. Eh? Ah, yeah, now, see, oh, yes, yes. Now I can get the full force of the gravity I want without the like chaotic nature of it. Because I can just turn down the simulation speed to undo the chaos a little bit. Okay. And then also probably needs a corresponding I guess not. I say it needs a corresponding decrease in lifetime, but okay. I think that's a good enough state. Let's see. Does it look like roughly like we would hope? Not really. Why is it offset? Hmm. I have no. Why am I seeing such a? Oh, I guess it's basically. I think I'm just losing. Like I'm losing some degree of the strength of the gravity as I move along, and then like you can no longer count on the same like kind of stable orbit. Well, like it seems like from the very beginning, it is offset. Yeah, I need like shorter range. Yeah, I truly. Oh, I know what it is. I know what it is. They're getting pulled. The player also has a particle system force field. So that when you collect coins and stuff, they kind of let you suck up the coins, as they spawn their particle effect. I need. Is there a way I can like set specifically what force fields affect me? Ah, yes. Influence filter. I guess. Yeah. So the influence mask would be. I don't think this rat boss has a thing. Oh, I can just use enemy. So instead of influencing, we'll put on nothing and then we can grab enemy. So now hopefully the player's force field, no, it still seems like it's affecting them. I think it might, I mean, it might need to go the other way where I go to the player and um change its force field. So there, um, just make it exclude enemy basically. One of these should be a particle system field. Maybe it's on one of his children. Honey? Yeah. No. What I can do, I can just jump off the map and see if it keeps happening. Oh, I think I just didn't save something. Um, yeah, I just didn't save something. It did fix thing. Yeah, the gravity is now too extreme though. Um, let's do a slight little fix to that so you can get looking in a slightly nicer state, and then I turned the gravity up to fight against these forces I did not understand, which turned out to be the like the additional pull of the player's particle system force field. And the other thing I want to do here is on their render. I want them to show up on top of the dump circle. It's renderer, order in layer, I believe it's something like that. Uh, something like order and layer? I guess not. Oh, it's because I'm using this dumb other material, I guess. Yeah. Alright, it's fine. I gotta, no, I gotta go for work tomorrow. Can't fix everything. I still think pretty solid progress. We made an arena. We got the like kind of jumping behavior we want. Could use some tweaking, but the sort of spewing rats is roughly correct. I still think it's missing like one horizontal attack to threaten like the other lower platform when it's like to threaten this platform basically when it's over there. I know it's jumping up back to the middle, so I feel so super safe. And if it's just going to be like losing a bunch of health every time it, oops, got me. That's how safe I am. Yeah, so this is gonna be it for me for this time. What I'm gonna, yeah, I'll give myself half for this. Um, yeah, I got some part of the logic done, but still a lot to do. Like I said at the top, my big concern is still like technical debt in the main scene. So hopping back to the main scene, I should probably check that none of the player tweaks or anything like that I did broke. Main scene, let's do like one round of hopping up. Yeah, I can talk about that as I hop up here. So yeah, a little bit too crowded, a little not smart enough to add all the new systems, like the few remaining systems I would still want to add. Hit on the edge. Still some weird. Hey, I got one. Still some weird behavior on the corners. So yeah, there's just like a bunch of things in here. There's a long list of things in here that need like small improvements, and I need to like clear out that list before I just keep adding new systems on top here. Triple jump, baby. And is there a coin? I'm gonna grab a coin and get Ultra Shield as well. So yeah, there's a decent chance next Tuesday we're just gonna continue on boss stuff, make that boss a little bit nicer, add that third attack. We also need like the boss UI for him to lose health and stuff every time he's doing that. We want to add the squish and the stretch. I really want to emphasize the squish with this guy. Working on the particle system, yeah. So I guess that's gonna be it for me. So yeah, plan of record is get on some of this technical debt associated with our main level so that we can return back to the main level, making progress on the main level, because getting this done and in a good state that actually leads to that boss is kind of like the milestone we need to hit to be able to put this up as like a beta and start getting feedback and playtesting and stuff. So at the top, am I gonna make it? I don't think so. I'm dead. Okay. So yeah, offline technical debt and like unsexy systems like the spline solver. Next time, if I have like an incredible renaissance of paying off all that technical debt over this week, then we'll probably hop back to doing more level challenge stuff. But more than likely, I think we're going to need 2 weeks to get our level in a really nice state where we can add the last few bits to make this a full game. So good chance next week we're going to continue work polishing up that boss, getting it to an actual like start and end. He's currently not losing any help or anything like that. Thanks, man. Yeah, and thanks for tuning in. I appreciate the advice. Definitely got me going down a good path on one of those boss things. And yeah, definitely appreciate the Unity tips as well. But that is gonna be it for me for tonight. I gotta hop off in time to eat something and go to bed at a reasonable time to go to work tomorrow. Yeah, check me out, Twitter, YouTube, all the places, Quiet Ben Sen, and here also on Twitch, Quiet Ben Sen. Have a good night.